Get ready with me as a 27-year-old forensic psychology student who's home for the holidays. Okay, so I just thought that I would kind of explain how I got into wanting to be a forensic psychologist. So I have two, one for the summer, one for winter. I'm going to use this one. Originally from Illinois, and I've been here since, obviously since I was born, up until I was 22, I think. So I worked at a bunch of places, right? And I was going to school. And when I was in school, I had some stuff happen. And I was like, you know what? Screw this place. I'm leaving. I'm going to go into the military. And so that's what I started doing. Except the thing was that was holding me back is I was a chunky monkey. And yeah, they were like, no girl, you cannot be that big when you're trying to get 30 pounds in 3 months. Finally was able to sign. And then once I signed, I got a boot camp date. Fast forward, I found myself in Japan, Okinawa, Japan, as my duty station. And I was obsessed, literally obsessed with anything criminal justice, anything with lawyers, anything crime related, like literally you name it, I knew it. I knew statistic. I knew all about the serial killer, like whatever. So I'm like, I was going to school at the time for my undergrad for just criminal justice. I had no idea what I wanted to do after that, if I was going to go back to school or what, but I knew I wanted to do something. I just didn't know exactly like what it was. So if you guys have ever seen the movie, well, it's not a movie, it's a TV show. But the TV show, Mindhunters, I've watched that probably 6 times. So in the show, they come up with this behavioral analyst unit for the FBI. So then, like every person who works for the military, or almost every person, I got obsessed. I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to work for the FBI. I want to be in their behavioral analyst unit. I was like, I can do it. So I worked my tail off when I was in the Corps, and I got a 4.0 in my schooling. I was so proud of myself because it's like a lot. If you were in the military, like you understand, like it is a lot to do that. Anyway, so I got the 4.0, and then I found myself on Quantico for my next duty station before I got out. So before I got out, if you're not familiar, Quantico has one of like the headquarters for FBI. So I'm like, yeah, find me there. So I get there and I'm working my job, and my job just so happened to work with FBI agents, and in some cases they would come to the base all the time, and I would talk to them, and I had like 12 guys tell me, don't do it. Like, don't apply, don't work here. I was like, why? Like, it's such a good job. It has, a good reputation. Well, they were saying that if you're contracted to work for them, like it's good. But if you work directly under them, if that makes sense, it's awful, which is what I would be doing if I applied to be a special agent with them. When my undergraduate was done, I graduated and all that stuff, I was like, okay, I need to find another school. Well, it turns out forensic psychology is still kind of like a new realm of education for psychology. But before I got out of the Marine Corps, like I said, was researching, and I found a school in DC. And so I ended up just staying in DC and going to school for forensic psychology. I'm a first semester student. I haven't even started my makeup. My plan is to get my degree, my master's, and then if I have to work for a little bit, then I will. But essentially I would just like to roll right over into my doctorate. I'm even thinking about just stopping my master's right now and then going on into my doctorate. I would like to have my own practice. If I could, I would love manifesting it now. I would love to be able to do documentaries. Also, one thing you have to know too is that if you're going to do a job like this, I'm just warning you now that you need to have some kind of like resiliency to your emotions, because you're not advocating for the client. You are making a statement on their behalf. Essentially, you're the person who, if someone commits murder and they're on trial, you're going to be an expert witness and you'll sit on the stand, determine if they are competent to stand trial or not. Yeah, you're not advocating. You're pretty much like working for the lawyer, but for the client. But just because you're working for them doesn't mean that you're going to be in favor of them, if that makes sense. I am going to curl my hair. Don't know what size barrel this is. Wouldn't know anyway if someone told me. I just want to get into like why people do what they do. Like how, like the Ted Bundys of the world. And Ed Gein. Like nipples? Like what? Why nipples? I absolutely love anything like that. I'm sorry if it comes off weird because I know it is weird. Honestly, when I tell people that I'm going to school to be a forensic psychologist, like, that is so cool. That's so cool. That's so cool that you're going to go to all these crimes. I'm like, wrong. I'm not going to the crimes. They're like, well, what do you mean? What is forensic psychology then? They always think it's forensic science. Like the people who analyze the crime scene and stuff, like that's not anywhere near what you're going to be doing. It's pretty much you're like the crime scene investigator for someone's mind. They study murderers and if they're competent to stand trial or not, what diagnoses they might have, where did it all begin. Honestly, we should be aware. It's something that should continue to be studied, and I think more people should be in forensic psychology. It's definitely brand new. Barely any schools have it, but if you are interested, just email me, shoot me, a DM, anything like that. And yeah, so thanks for getting ready with me today, and happy Thanksgiving.